If you wait until you're inspired to write a song, you will write far fewer songs than you're capable of writing. Now, it's not because we lack talent. It's because we take our consistency and we hand it over to a feeling. Now, I want to show you what you could be making with a consistent writing practice. Inspiration can absolutely make writing a song feel effortless, like it is meant to be. But inspiration is actually pretty unreliable. If we make it the gatekeeper of our work, we stop a lot more often than we need to. Now, the writers who really grow over time are not the most inspired writers. They're just the most consistent writers. One of the biggest misunderstandings about songwriting is that inspiration comes first. Routine, though, it doesn't kill creativity. It actually protects it and invites it. So when writing is scheduled, we don't spend energy deciding whether or not to begin or even what we're going to write. So if you don't yet have a steady writing rhythm, I have a free course here on YouTube called Becoming a Songwriter, and it's built around practices and practical exercises around melody, lyric, chords, and groove, so you can really strengthen those areas by cherry picking which topics you want or following the course step by step all the way through. But really, it's doing the writing that creates the momentum that gets inspiration through your door. Now, when this rhythm is in place, we see incredible songs making their way through. We see artists like Joni Mitchell write things like Both Sides Now. And when you listen to Joni Mitchell's song, what's remarkable is not just the vulnerability of it or the fact that, oh, she's such an old soul. It's the design. She writes a lot of songs and has integrated into her talent an intuition about how the song will be most effectively designed. So let me show you a few ways in which the design leads to really effective communication. She ends each verse with the same summarizing thought, right? It's, I really don't know clouds at all, or I really don't know love at all, or life at all. It changes depending on which verse she's in. So what she's doing with these verses is she's widening the scope of the meaning of the song as it moves along. So we move from clouds, which are just inanimate objects that we don't feel an emotional connection to, as the smallest idea, to this carnival scene in the second verse. She talks about the larger scope of love there. It's more meaningful than just looking at clouds. And then she talks about, in the last verse, this lived experience with life. And that's ultimately where the song makes its final landing. So the emotional world of the song gradually expands as we become more and more connected to the character. That is not a gift of sudden inspiration. It's craft, and we can learn how to do this ourselves with our own ideas. Now, even the title of this song is intentional, Both Sides Now. It's not just a feeling, it's a tonal center, a core message summarizing the whole idea of the song. Now, in interviews, Joni Mitchell says that she had that title. She really liked that concept and wanted to write a song around it. And so the concept comes as a result of the title, right? She also has really interesting rhymes here that I think are quite conversational. Things like proud with loud, with now, with crowds, strange with changed, right? They're nothing special or extravagant, but she never lets the rhyme restrain her content, yeah? The lyric lines just say what they need to say, and it feels like they just also happen to rhyme. This is something else that comes through daily practice because you begin to hear yourself saying some of the same things day after day after day and figuring out new ways to use common rhymed words to say something more meaningful that reflects your actual meaning. Now, over to the music. Listen to the melody in the verse as I sing this. The first 3 lines, they share the same rhythm. She simply moves the pitches around, and that creates a kind of steadiness, a containment for the song. We recognize, oh, that's the verse of this song, right? And it goes, dun, 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 da, dum, bum, bum, ba, dum, 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 bum, 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 dum, 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 right? So the first 3 lines have a similar melodic rhythm, different melodic shape, as you heard me go in different places on the keyboard. Now, the chords are interesting in that they really allow the lyric to float, the melody to float on top. She uses a pedal tone here where it's keeping the same single note on the bottom while moving the chords around on the top. So, right? And it's not until here that she changes chords. And we could say, okay, this is kind of a bright, a little more resolved tone. Whereas if I go here, it's got a little shadow to it, doesn't it? It's a little, it's tinged with sadness. And so that chord helps to lead the song forward and lead her message forward and tell her what to say, as well as tell us as the listener how to interpret what she's saying. And in that line, she's saying, clouds, they only block the sun. They rain and they snow on everyone. Right? Oh, it's so beautiful. It's this feeling of expansion of, yeah, we all share that same challenge when the clouds rain and snow metaphorically on us. We know what that means. And the same thing in later verses, tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud, right out loud. Did you get that great tension there? And it resolves here, as if that moment comes with some challenge. It's hard to say I love you right out loud, right? So that chord is so effective in bringing that in. Now, each verse has the same chord function there. And so the work of the chord is adding layers of meaning to her message. And this is what I call trained instinct. It's the craft that is informed by our instincts when we've written enough songs to train it right up. Now, that instinct does not come from waiting for inspiration to tell you what the song is. It comes from staying with the song long enough to discover how it could be as you're writing it. If writing only happens when the mood is right, our relationship stays shallow, right? Imagine only talking to someone that you care about when you felt inspired to do so. That connection really wouldn't deepen. A depth comes from returning over and over on every kind of day, right? So those quieter days, that's where the craft sharpens. And here's the thing. You're not going to notice when it happens. You're going to think, oh, I wrote a mediocre song today. But that mediocre song is instrumental in teaching you what you typically do, in enabling you to have yet another experience interacting with chords, with words and melody, and what they create when you put them all together. So instead of waiting to feel inspired, decide in advance what you'll do on low inspiration days, which is honestly most days of the week. Yeah? Life is busy. You have to accommodate with intention time with your instrument, time with your songs, time with your voice. Yeah? So explore melody without words. Free write for 10 minutes, just lyrics, or write badly on purpose. This is a great one. Yeah? You will become aware of, oh, that was really cheesy, or, oh, that was not the right chord for this moment, which means that we're responding to a moment. And when we respond instinctually, now we can say, I think something needs to change. And the next step that comes with regular writing practice is, I think I might have an idea about how to change it, because those are the tools that we get when we keep working ourselves into different song situations that teach us something about how to fix what's going on. Inspiration is beautiful, but it's not responsible for our body of work. You are. If this helped you visualize your future writing routine, I would love to know about it. See you next time.